Hey, what's up YouTube? So today we had a lot of fun today. We finished off our awakening objective, and then we were able to get into some canyon maps with the sextant stuff that I was talking about yesterday. We have this new and improved filter where my girlfriend says some few catchphrases every now and then for some exalted orbs or divine orbs. So it'll be pretty fun to share with you in the clips of some exalts and divines dropping in the map. But basically, this whole setup has kind of changed. I was able to use a headhunter today because I figured out if you're doing beyond maps, you're pretty much should always be using a headhunter. And a headhunter is by far the best build for a beyond map or any juice map. Now the issue is I still want to self chill with this build. So is it possible to run headhunter without the Malagaros belt and still self chill? And in the end, the answer is yes, and the speed is insane. It's by far probably the fastest character I've ever played in a map, with or without Headhunter. It just zooms through the map running at Mach speed, just killing everything in sight. And I'll show you a few clips or videos of the whole mapping experience because it was quite a sight to behold. But you might be wondering, how do you self-chill without the Malagaros belt? Well, we also self-poison, and when you self-poison, you can also self-chill yourself. So you're pretty much right now playing a self-chill, self-poison, aura stacking, ailment stacking, winter orb, ascendant. So that is quite a mouthful to say. But basically, I got rid of the other Call of the Brotherhood. I'm running Ice Fang Orbit. So now you're chilled when you're poisoned. And then you have a chance to poison on hit. Now, this also requires using a Abyss Jewel to kind of trigger this, and then I also need to use the Golden Rule, which makes it so that poison you inflict is reflected to you. If you have fewer than 100 poisons on you, so we reflect the poison onto ourselves, and then, because of this, we are also chilled when we're poisoned. And then this Winterweave ring reflects the chill, or reverses the chill, so this is pretty much how it always works. So overall, we get this whole interaction that we're self-poisoned and now we're also self-chilled, so we're not shocked anymore. So theoretically, we don't need these boots anymore. We could run Tailwind boots for even more speed. If I keep doing this method, I might craft a new pair of boots. But anyhow, I just wanted to get into the whole gear overview, and then I want to go quickly over the self-poison and this whole new mapping strategy I'm doing and how profitable it is. And then lastly, I'll probably play some videos of the new Headhunter method that I'm using with self-chill and show you the speed, and then demonstrate some few clips of the girlfriend filter that I'm pretty much going to be debuting with some cool sounds, and it just makes mapping a little more enjoyable to hear some excitement, and you never know what you might hear, just like that. But yeah, let's get straight into the gear overview. So for the gear overview, we have the exact same Nebulous, exact same helm. This amulet is insane, but it's still the exact same. We still have the same Nebula, the Prism Guardian. So at this point in the league, it's kind of hard to upgrade pieces without spending a bunch, especially when I'm trying to save up for my own Headhunter. Since this is someone let me borrow this for today just to test out the whole concept, I'm almost at to be able to buy my own. I have like 90x and like 30x in like chaos and miscellaneous currency. And I think a Headhunter is only 145 exalts. What the? It was 138 exalts. Can I actually keep up with the rate of inflation? Maybe buying the cards is a better choice. We'll have to see. But anyhow, we have the Ice Fang Orbit. This is the ring that we replaced the Call of the Brotherhood with. So I replaced my Hatred Call of the Brotherhood, which should be, I don't even know, where is the ring? Oh, right here. So I replaced the Hatred Call of the Brotherhood with this thing. So I had to get an aura on it. So the aura is actually extremely cheap, and it just shows you that the Call of the Brotherhoods are extremely expensive, but the enchant or the implicit corruption is not that hard to hit. There were quite a few when I looked it up, so I don't know if this is actually going to get popular or catch on. So if you want to try this method out and you have a Headhunter, I'd advise you to pick this ring up ASAP before people try to price fix or price gouge with the aura implicit Ice Fang orbits. So we're using this ring, which chills ourselves when we're poisoned, and now we have Winterweave. I'm still trying to find an aura Winterweave. I haven't really been looking that hard. But hopefully there's one soon. I think these are actually getting cheaper and cheaper by the day. So let's see how much they are. 50 chaos, right? 50 chaos, pretty common ring. We should be seeing an aura implicit one of these days. And if I had an aura implicit, what would I run? Would I run Dread Banner? I might run Dread Banner. I might actually enhance one of my auras here. So maybe I would get a Purity of Ice and enhance it for some extra pen. But really, there's a lot of different options now. So now we move on to the belt. This is a Headhunter. By far the best belt if you're doing any juice content or beyond maps. And it's actually insane in ultimatums. Oh yeah, Harbinger in Valdo's Rest, even without beyond on it, it's extremely good. Because you run into Harbinger mobs constantly throughout the map if you put the 4 Chaos Harbinger mod on it. So it's actually a really insane belt. And I feel like it has really good synergy with this whole self-chill thing. Because self-chill is just a multiplier upon any buffs that you have, so it just makes other buffs even stronger. And it makes your movement speed even faster. And then we have Hands of the High Templar. I was considering getting an Explode gloves again to test out. Because it seems like that Explode will really help to clear, especially how dense the mobs are in the Fractured, or not Fractured maps, but the Nemesis Beyond maps. So I might test that out. And the boots again, I wanted to get unaffected by... I no longer need unaffected by shock, so theoretically I can do an elevated tailwind, which will increase the speed even more, and do effective non-damaging ailments, which also means that getting move speed and an open prefix should be really easy, so I could get Craft On Cannot Be Frozen really easily. But now let's get into the jewel selection. Oh yeah, you don't need this node taken if you're playing the self-chill, self-poison variant, because you no longer self-shock yourself, because you're not using a belt. So basically now, what did I change? So when you want to play the self-chill, self-poison, you need to get this jewel here. So I replaced one of my double multi-cold jewels with the golden rule. You can buy an RMR golden rule extremely cheap. I think this is only 20 chaos or so. I feel like this could get expensive, but probably not because not many people play this. So this basically reads that you have extra chaos resistance per poison on you. And this is actually pretty big. So this makes us run around the map with positive chaos res. So this is pretty much beneficial to us in multiple ways, especially if you're low life and you need the chaos resist. But the main line here is that poison you inflict is reflected to you if you have fewer than 100 poisons on you. So we're constantly able to reflect the poison back to us, and we're constantly poisoned throughout the map as soon as we start it. And then I also had to change out my Abyss Jewel here to get 4% chance to gain phasing. But more importantly, you need added spell physical damage. So your spell needs to be able to do physical damage or chaos damage in order to poison. When I first started out, I was so confused why I wasn't able to poison, even though I had Ice Fang Orbit. And it turns out you need a little bit of fizz damage and chaos damage on your spell to poison. So if you're playing EK, this will work perfectly, or you wouldn't even need this jewel. Actually kind of inclined to try EK because EK benefits so well from Headhunter buffs. Winter Orb is actually pretty good as it benefits from the additional projectiles that you get, and the more projectiles you have on Winter Orb, the better it is. But EK will be insane with this, I'm pretty sure, or any other fizz skills. So maybe in the coming days, you can try some other different skills out. The damage overall is a lot lower on single target because we don't have Call of the Brotherhood conversion anymore, but I feel like the speed you get and the feel of the build just feels so much better, and it actually feels like just as good as Self-Curse, maybe not as OP, but Self-Curse was honestly like annoyingly big. Like your character just got annoyingly big and it felt hard to control and it was just not fun. But playing with the Headhunter again made me realize that Shroud Walker is the worst thing in the world. It's super annoying. I'm trying to click on to go inside the Alba Temple and it just constantly TPs me back out. But basically that's the gear overview. You can kind of see like what gear swaps I had to do to make self-chill, self-poison work. And that's basically the whole gist of it. So be sure to try it out if you want, and make sure to pick up some of these RMR jewels or Aura Implicit Ice Fang Orbits before it gets more expensive. So I wanted to give you guys some tips about how to deal with this. So this is called every mapper's worst nightmare, or your wrist's worst nightmare. But basically you see on my screen, this is what it looks like when you're trying to loot everything, right? It is insane the amount of loot you see on the screen. So one of the tips I can give to looting is that You see all these little lines, these like light beams up, so you could pretty much just click on the ground over and over again to loot it, so you don't need to actually try to click precisely everything. So here I'm just like clicking it one by one. Now you might think, oh, clicking this many times is kind of tiring, right? So there's actually something you can do. So this program here is called X mouse button control. Now you can change it so that the wheel up is left click. So this means that every time you wheel up, it left click. So right here, what I'm doing is I'm just doing a scroll wheel over and over up on the thing. So I'm just highlighting things and then picking everything up like that. And it makes it miles faster to loot like this. And it also makes it so it's a lot easier on your fingers. So you don't need to constantly try to click over and over again in a repetitive action. It's much easier to scroll the wheel than to click the mouse. So once you're done with the map, you can just change it back to no change. I'll include the program link and how to download this, because this is actually pretty life-changing in terms of actually looting these maps. It's like here you can clearly see that I'm constantly struggling to actually click everything. The amount of stuff is just insane. So if you're actually clicking it every single time, you probably develop carpal tunnel. And I don't know why they don't have any stacking of loot in this game. I've gone over this many times, but we just got to make do with what we got. And if you enjoy doing the Fracture or like Beyond Nemesis maps that are fun to do, actually, but you don't enjoy the loot process, this is probably the easiest way to pick everything up. It's still kind of tedious, but you can go through a whole map of looting a lot faster. And there's also another thing that is pretty important, and it kind of ties into this filter that I made with my girlfriend's voice. And it comes with the terrain of making a more strict filter in general. Now, there's people who say like, oh, how much is too much to loot? Because like, if you could just spend the entire time looting the whole map, that would be great, right? You make like as much currency as you could possibly click. Well, at a certain point, there becomes like, it's just too much looting, and you probably maybe make more money if you didn't pick up something that was worth 5 to 1. So I know on the uber strict never sync filter, for some reason, chromes are actually shown up. And basically, if I was you and I was gonna do a filter and I was actually doing like pretty juice maps, I would go through here and just control D all of these things. So this is 5 to 1. So I would probably get rid of chromes. Now it's like chaos shards shown up, and that's probably not good either. Even though like it looks good on excellence to have every single item shown up into your dump tab to say, oh, I'm making so much money overall. In the end, it's probably less. I'm not sure exactly, but your wrist will definitely thank you. It's more fun to be playing the game than to actually just be looting the whole time. So I probably make the filter a little more strict. Now, alts are probably okay. I probably separate it at 3 to 1. Fusings are really good, 1 to 1.8. Scours are 1 to 2.3, so it's still in that threshold of 1 to 3. Alks are 1 to 4.2. See, that's a little interesting here. Like, can we do Alks? I kind of like Alks, but Orb of Bindings, 1 to 3.8. Actually, really weird. How is Orb of Bindings cheaper than Alks? So I would keep these two still. They're on the borderline. Chromes, you really don't need that many of them. You could... Chromes are really easy to sell, but like at a certain point, like chromes make up a huge portion of the loot, because I turned it off and the map was a lot faster to loot. So I would advise turning chromes off perhaps, but maybe if you're really a masochist, you would leave them on. But overall, if you want to do these maps and want to do them faster, best way is to go through a filter, get rid of the stuff that should not be shown. Like no one at this point in the league should be showing transmutes. They shouldn't be choosing Orb of Chances or any of this other stuff down here. And that's the number one thing of mapping faster in this game and just making more currency, is to make your loot filter stricter. Like IDing rares at this point in the league is a complete joke with how good the ultimatum rares are. Like, you just don't need to do that. So only tip I have for people is to go through a filter, spend some time on it, add some custom sounds to make it fun, or try to narrow it down. The less time you spend looting, the more mapping you do, the more XP you gain. That also means the more passive points you have, and it's pretty much like getting a 1 passive point voices when you level up. So less downtime, the better. Less looting, the more your hands will thank you. But anyhow, I'm gonna show some clips overall of how fast this build looks in the map and how zoomy it is, and then I'm gonna show you a nice little treat with this new loot filter I have. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, it is back. We're poisoned now.
Will this be a second loss in a row? You will fall to ruin.
Uh-oh.
That felt disturbingly good.
What is so many poisons that?
Ruin arrives suddenly.
I'm dying.
Ruin surrounds you. Ruin seeks you.
I mean, this is definitely faster than Headhunter.
Arrives suddenly. You will fall to ruin.
So stupid. Oh my goodness.
Choking vapors seek the living. A meager turnaround.
I serve a new god now, Exile.
I have nothing more to give.
How is this possible?
Keep finding the crazy build like faster to chill. I mean, this build is always what I wanted to keep the self-chill thing.
Exalted orb. Exalted orb.
Dude, she... Hey, that's not a... Is that... Dude, this is like some fucking like Pavlov dog conditioning for me to love her voice. So like... Wait, maybe I spoke too soon.
Your victories will not continue.
I have no idea what 469 was. But overall, I hope everyone enjoyed those clips. It was a blast doing those maps, especially with the added spice of some unexpected sounds. So tomorrow we'll be doing a lot more testing out with this setup. I'm not really sure what else I could do to optimize it. Maybe some explode gloves, maybe a different skill, we'll see. I always want to try to bring something different every day or try out something different, but right now I'm really enjoying the strategy. Even though the Winged Harbinger Scarabs are extremely expensive, I believe it's still some profit. It's probably not the best profit in the game, but it's definitely fun to do. You do get simulacrums, you do get a lot of miscellaneous currency and stuff to sell. Next on the agenda will be probably Ritual with T19 and extreme damage and doing blood-filled vessels. We'll see how that goes. Maybe we can get a mirror from there. Maybe we can get some I-86 Blizzard Crowns. We'll see how profitable it is in Super Juice T19 rituals, but that will be for another time. So I'm still going to invest a little bit more into the strategy. Valdo's Rest is extremely good. With the Winged Harbingers, this is actually better than last league's Valdo's Rest was, but it requires actual investment into the map in order to make it really strong. But anyhow, everyone, thanks for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content, and check out my Twitch. We'll be doing more of this content, and if you subscribe, you can get a link to the filter. But anyhow, see you later, and I hope you find more mirrors and exalts than I do, and good luck on your build, and thanks for watching.